So what kind of bird is that?
This is a red-shouldered hawk.
Red-shouldered hawk?
Red-shouldered.
Is that native to this area?
They're seasonal migrants. They're only around here during the winter.
Oh,
primarily.
just during the winter?
Summer. Oh, the summer? Okay.
They don't migrate far.
They don't migrate far?
Just like, depends on how bad the winter is, but like Pennsylvania, it's not far.
So not far south?
Yeah.
Because there are some of them that go quite far south. Yeah. Mm.
This is my first day volunteering.
Okay, nice.
I used to do it.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice. Awesome.
like in ads and stuff.
No, like why is
They like to be on the high place.
Yeah, but it's like...
So we need to be careful of the tail.
But at me.
Oh, sorry, because they shoot their poop.
Yes, I do. Especially when you clean her cage. Yeah, watch your head. They would. They put up on the porch and they would turn around. As soon as you went in there, clean up the old mice.
Movement up there.
Look at this guy. Look how small it is.
A red-shouldered. Red-shouldered.
Red-shouldered, huh? I'm just going to go around this pole.
You know, whenever I see a hawk soaring, the only one I can ever identify is a red nose. Yeah, they're pretty easy. Yeah. The rest of them are not sure exactly what that is. Yeah. The ones that always confuse me are the Coopers and the Sharp Shot. I've never seen them tell things between them. Yeah.
Don't scare him.
I'm
Don't scare him, okay?
You're gonna scare the bird as they scare the bird.
That's an adult.
Yeah.
these guys?
Lovely.
Sunshine feels good.
Well, put this back in the box.
Winky. Eye.
Can I wait till it dries?
It's better
Or
now.
you can try to clean it up while it's hot as well. There's the wet wipes are over here.
Thank you. That's nice. Oh, you have a lot to say. I know. It's so much money to drink. I'm sorry. I can't do anything with the wing.
Can't feed them. No,
Every person
that's what they do.
different
You
stuff.
just look at that. They feed you. They know how to do it.
They sound very different.
And just like people, we all have our own ways.
We do always with the nice side, but the birds have so much like different
Another one.
It is the red.
Yes, we did. Oh, Ginger's listening. What are you saying?
Oh, did
Actually, she takes that.
Oh, my baby.
Yeah, I love feeding her. Because you're in there all by yourself, just you and her, and I was like, this is awesome.
She's my baby.
Yep. So you're going to hang on to me because I don't want you to run, okay? Can you say see you later, guys?
See you later. There's the boss.
So when they actually eat a mouse or a rat, they digest it, and that's what comes out. They don't spit it out, but they don't. So everything gets digested, the feathers, the guts, everything.
So he's full grown. We have them in this area too. They're more typically gray around this area. He's from Long Island. Neat. Can I get a little close-up of him? Of course. Are you photogenic? You sure look like you. Yes.
He's winky at you.
See that, then you can see the antennas up that pinnacle hill. Yeah, especially the steeples.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see bird of prey flying. Look
I
at
love
that,
the
look at that, look at that, look at that.
Come over here.
And they're just using, the thermals, to fly.
At least it has the paper.
Did you see those posts on Facebook around regarding the long path where they are building a new path where you can actually go down into the valley?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. That's what the guy told us. Remember that with Steve that I went with the guy down there?
Yeah.
So that's the guy that told us about the long path. You know, you sometimes wonder, like especially like some of these trees, and is that they're able to grow here in the wind and everything else like that. And sometimes you take that same tree and you want to plant it in something where you think it will prosper, you know, good soil or whatever, and it does not survive.
Yeah.
You know, some things are specifically that has a genes in there that makes them more, you know, growable. I know, like my mother used to sometimes come up on the mountains that we used to hike, and she picked like the small little evergreens, you know, the small little ones.
Yeah.
And you know, she said, you know, she thought, and then planted it at our house. It took like a long time for the tree to start really growing. You know, because like it's used to being, you know, out, you know, where it's being pounded and, you know, by the winter, by the wind, you know, and right. I don't know. I think our political class is very rotten. I'm just saying, not just Democrats, Republicans too, you know.
Yeah.
Our political class is bad. You know, they're hiding things from us, they're telling us one thing and doing another. They hear the same thing. They cut down these small branches so that people can actually see. I tried, I was 190. And I could not make it through the squeeze thing.
Yeah.
We'll try it this time.
Okay.
Black smoke. Look at that black smoke over there. See that? It must be some sort of major fire, right?
See how dense and dark?
That's what I'm saying. It's a black smoke. So I think there must be some sort of fire. Maybe an industrial fire, maybe a forest fire.
We look out here.
So that's like going like north out towards Saratoga, Glens Falls area. I smell food. Get away from the smelling food. Yeah, but that's black smoke. Yeah, that's a big fire. If we can see it from here, that means it must be big.
Yeah.
I smell that food. Yeah, I wonder what that smoke is from. Yeah, they got a bouncy house and everything. Yeah. That must be a big fire.
Yeah, it'll probably be in the news or at least the local.
Maybe not local because that looks like far away.
Well, local, like, relation.
Maybe the greater capital district.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, really?
What if I can't cook this?
Oh, those blue jeans, those shorts, blue jeans that I wore the other day.
What happened?
Those blue jeans are from the time when it was 190. So I have so much space in there, but I don't want to throw them away. You know, I could just button up and move it around. Sure. Me too. Me too. I could not wear my sneakers doing that. You see already you got 3 people in May. You got more people in May. More people in May. There goes the waterfalls. that's it. That waterfall is just this little stream coming down.
Yeah.
And yet it's so powerful.
Gets the velocity.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so powerful. It's so it's always interesting to look at, you know, what Mother Nature has, you know, formed. Yeah, so at the Gunks, there are people, I mean, they must have like guts. And so they will like climb up here and then climb under that rock.
Oh yeah, I've heard about
You
it.
saw that? Oh my God. I mean, even though they have, you know, the safety thing, you know, that they're hooked up from one to another, still the thoughts in my head
Yeah.
of being underneath a piece of rock like that. So, okay, let's say nothing,
what if there were-
let's say nothing happens to you, but let's say all of a sudden that thing lets go. You're a pancake. You're a pancake. You know?
Yeah, to me, I mean,
I
yeah.
don't know, for some reason, even though you are tethered to the rope, I think still the concept, having it in my mind,
What if that starts breaking?
that's what I'm saying.
What if there's...
You're not on top, but if you're on the underside of it,
Yeah,
and then all of a sudden starts letting loose, you're done.
I know.
You're done.
Yeah, it's almost like you'd have to have a scientist with you to scan that, see if there's any movement at all. Yeah, and then, yeah.
And I mean, like, I would freeze. I mean, not freeze, but I freeze as in I wouldn't be able to go forward, no backwards. I'll be there, call the rescue squad, call the helicopter, get me off of this rock.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's if you're in the under.
Yeah.
Well, once you're there, you've gotta. I mean, if I were gonna freeze, I think I'd freeze before I actually got out.
Yeah, that would be smart. That'll be the spot to freeze.
Yeah, once you're out there,
once you're out there,
you can't.
you got to make a commitment. Okay, let's go. Let's go. You know, just like the LDS elders keep saying, let's go, let's go, let's go. Yeah, that's what I would be afraid of.
Yeah.
You know, you get a cramp or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, you're not even thinking about it. What if you did and it wasn't anxiety or something?
Right. That's why, like, those things you can never do it by yourself. You always have to have somebody else with you.
Yeah, I mean, doing the parachute.
Mm-hmm.
But then, my group, I mean, there's a fellow something happened.
Right. I wasn't, you know, terrified of it. I wasn't terrified. I wasn't scared. You know, at the end of the day, if the chute's not going to open, oh well, that's it.
Yeah.
You know, but, you know, I wasn't like terrified into going into it. Whereas as this here,
Well, if you were, it would make the whole experience not good.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I saw this one video. I guess the instructor that was doing the tandem jump did not buckle the lady. She was in her 90s up properly. So, you know, you have to have 1 buckle, 2 buckle, 3 buckle, 4 buckle. Well, one of those, he did not buckle. So when they were jumping out of the airplane, she was able to turn. So instead of, for example, being this way, you know, like this,
Yeah.
she was able to turn into him the other way around.
If she hadn't I don't see how we could ever live with that, I mean,
You know, he was able to save it, you know, because he's the one who had the parachutes.
yeah.
But yeah, that was a major mistake that he made.
And if I were in my 90s, I mean, in a way, you can say, well, hey, now we're never.
Yeah.
But, you know, you don't want to be aware that your bones are broken and you can't move.
Right.
Like, super down.
Yeah, that was like, cause I was asking the instructor up in Saratoga, cause I sent him that video. I said, how the hell can this happen? And he said that one of the 4 buckles was not buckled. And that's the instructor.
The instructor has to.
That's his
He has
responsibility.
to, you know, make sure that.
That all 4 of them are. That's why I'm saying, like, because the one that it happened to was somebody who looked young. I'm not saying that he's not experienced. He looked young. Whereas compared to my instructor, he was doing it over 20 years. I kind of like trust that thing more than somebody who's been doing it for a shorter time.
I'm surprised for 90 whatever year old woman.
Yeah.
Could have been, who knows?
It could have been
Could have been
experience.
like a
Freak accident.
Yeah,
Something freakish.
yeah. Or it could have been like that person was recommended by
Mm-hmm.
someone and she's like, well, yeah.
Yeah. As I said, you know, but I don't know what could have gone through her mind while that was going on, but she must have also been freaking out. Because the instructor was freaking out.
Yeah, I mean, if your instructor, your coach, your tandem coach,
Yeah.
out,
You know, without the parachute being deployed. And then after a minute and a half, you're dropping below about 1,000 feet, you know, above the ground. That's when the guy opens up the parachute. And in case he can't open it, there's an automatic parachute opener that at a certain level, I think it's under 1,000 feet. If you did not open up your parachute, it opens up by itself automatically. So it's like, even if the guy on your back all of a sudden had a heart attack and died, that parachute is going to open up, you know. So, you know, you might not land where you expected to land, but at least you land.
yeah.
You might have a broken leg, but at least you're not dead. You know what I mean? So they have those things are required. You have to have an automatic opener because, you know, God forbid something could happen to that guy.
Yeah.
And, you know, and if he is not able to open it, well, guess what happens to both of you? So they do have requirement to have 2 parachutes. And in case the first one doesn't open or it gets tangled up for whatever reason, you know, they have a procedure for cutting it and opening up the second one. And again, as I said, if, God forbid, the guy did not open up the parachute or couldn't or had a heart attack or whatever, you know, at a certain altitude, the parachute does open up no matter what, you know? Oh, look at that. Vulture, turkey vulture. And that's another thing I like to do, you know, go hang gliding with somebody. I think that Jim went hang gliding with somebody over there in Berkshires. There's a group down there that does it. And so one year we saw these people that were hang gliding. See, windy here again.